The 1500 model in the Panasonic lineup no longer features the best possible image quality, and it now has an added soundbar, which users probably don't want. So, what gives? Hello and welcome to another video on AV Forums. I'm Phil Hinton, the site editor, and I'm a fully trained ISF and THX calibrator with 20 years of experience. In this video we're looking at the Panasonic MZ1500 OLED TV. The Panasonic MZ1500 is the second to top model in the company's 2023 TV lineup, sitting just below the MZ2000 flagship and above the third tier MZ980. It has a different OLED panel to the flagship model, with no support for MLA or the brightness booster processing. Rather, it features last year's Master OLED Pro panel with a proprietary heatsink and HCX AI Pro processor. This year, the MZ1500 model also adds a forward-firing 2.1 soundbar attached to the bottom of the panel, and the design is very similar to the MZ2000. In previous years, the 1500 model in the Panasonic range has featured the flagship panel and dropped the Dolby Atmos sound system from the 2000 model, so you got the best image possible, but without the sound system you didn't need. The MZ1500 moves away from that approach, and it no longer has the flagship panel, and also adds in the aforementioned 2.1 soundbar, which will annoy many enthusiasts who already have their own sound system and are just looking for the best panel without paying for a sound system they just don't need. Panasonic's reply is that it wants to add more distinct performance levels to its 2023 lineup. The MZ1500 is available in two screen sizes, starting with the 55-inch MZ1500 at £2,199 and the 65-inch model is £2,899. The TV we're reviewing here is the 55-inch set, and it was provided by Panasonic UK, and it was a brand new retail unit in a retail box. For those of you who want the too long, didn't watch quick roundup so you can move on to your next video, then here it comes. But please do consider subscribing to our channel for getting to the point quickly. The Panasonic MZ1500 is an excellent mid-tier OLED TV designed for movie fans and darkroom viewing conditions. SDR and HDR content is accurate thanks to Filmmaker Mode out of the box, plus there's the added benefit for bright room viewing with a new light sensor and white balance adjustment that follows the creator's intent, but it adjusts the image to suit your environment. Plus there's support for HDR10, HDR10+, HDR10+ Adaptive, Dolby Vision, Dolby Vision IQ and HLG Hybrid Log Gamma HDR formats, and gaming is also well catered for with two HDMI 2.1 ports at 40 gigabits per second, an improved game bar and an accurate true game picture mode. It's a very impressive package that sits well with competing sets at this level of the market, and it comes highly recommended. Right, let's start some nitpicking. We go into picture quality measurements in detail within the written review on AV Forums, so head over to read all the details of the out-of-the-box and calibrated results there. We fully measured and tested the out-of-the-box settings as well as calibrating the MZ1500, and we put it through some rigorous testing, including some side-by-side comparisons with rivals. The MZ1500B in Filmmaker Mode is very good indeed, with a grayscale that tracks accurately to the standards and with delta E errors that are well below the visible threshold of 3, with an average of around 1.1. The only slight issue is a darkening of the gamma around 10% stimulus, which can introduce some black crush, but overall, for an out-of-the-box preset, this is very good. With Rec 709 we also see some good accuracy to the standards, with saturation points tracking well. We've two small points to note, with a small hue error in magenta and green, as well as a slight oversaturation of red that's noted within the graph. However, our delta E errors are very low, and these issues are unlikely to be seen by the vast majority of viewers. We were also able to fully calibrate the MZ1500 to reference levels of accuracy for grayscale, and with Rec 709 we also had no visible issues or errors, meaning we could watch film and TV content in absolute accuracy. With HDR10 content, the MZ1500 measures in at 943 nits on an industry standard 10% window and 154 nits full screen in the most accurate HDR Filmmaker Mode. With PQE-OTF tracking to ST2084, the MZ1500 uses two slightly different tone maps for 1000 and 4000 nit mastering display metadata. Wide colour gamut performance to DCI-P3 is also good, with just a few small saturation tracking errors seen within the graph, but this is not seen within actual HDR10 content when viewed on this Panasonic. We measured BT 2020 at 72% XY and 76% UV, with P3 coming in at 98% XY and 99% UV. With screen uniformity displaying a 5% brightness slide, and like almost all the OLED panels we've tested this year, we noted some very faint vertical bands that were visible in a pitch black room. Watching a dark scene in a movie in a dark room did not highlight this issue, so it's nothing to really worry about. The panel looked very clean, with no signs of dirty screen effect or vignetting at all other brightness levels. And when viewing the TV from very wide angles, we also didn't notice any tinting to the panel edges or any gamma or colour shift. With 24 frames per second content, the MZ1500 is capable of correct motion reproduction, with 5.5 pull down applied with IFC off and accurate IFC left switch on as default. Broadcast content at 50Hz was also good, with no frame skipping or micro stutter, even with fast cuts or camera movements. Applying IFC does introduce soap opera effect with higher settings, with over smooth motion and artifacts seen within fast moving objects. Black frame insertion is also unusable in my opinion. It just adds too much flicker, and it's an on-off option with a 60Hz refresh. As we've come to expect from the HCX processing, upscaling is very good, with nice clean edges and no signs of edge enhancement or junk pixels. Only very poor SD broadcast channels prove to be too much for the processing to clean up, and we've yet to see any manufacturer pull off that miracle. HDR and SDR content on the MZ1500 looks incredibly cinematic, as you would expect from a Panasonic OLED TV. Blacks are deep, with just a hint of just above black crush within some content, but shadow detail retrieval is excellent, adding real depth to the image. Colours are bright and natural, with very good skin tones that can just look a little bit rosy from time to time out of the box, but incredibly accurate following calibration. The only real disappointments seen now and again are with posterization around bright objects or in fade to black, where there is stair-stepping and gradational errors seen within the content. We also noted some black crush in the out-of-the-box modes that can be corrected following calibration. In terms of sound quality, the 2.1 front-firing soundbar does a great job with film soundtracks, giving a convincing soundstage that's nice and wide. The audio processing does add some envelopment to effects, and if you're positioned in the ideal spot, you will get a feeling of surround, but it will never compare to a proper sound system with actual surround speakers in place. Okay, let's wrap this up. The Panasonic MZ1500 is an impressive mid-level OLED TV that offers some superb cinematic and accurate looking images. It's not all perfect, as there is no such thing as the perfect TV, and we see some issues of posterization around bright objects and gradational stair-stepping in the lower reaches of the image with some lower bitrate content. The 1500 model used to be the ideal choice for home cinema fans looking for top picture quality in a monitor-like design to add to their own audio system. However, it looks like that was just too niche an option for a mass market brand like Panasonic, and the previous iterations of the 1500 just didn't sell as well as the company had hoped, and it was lost within the TV lineup. The solution with the MZ1500 is a TV that offers a distinct upgrade to the MZ980, but sits just below the flagship MZ2000 as the second tier TV. Panasonic OLEDs are among some of the very best TVs available for films fans, and the MZ1500 should certainly be on your demo list if you think it suits your use case. If you enjoyed this review, then please do give it a like, and if you want to see more TV reviews from AV Forums, then why not subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.